Hello. Welcome to Astrology Talk, the monthly forecast. I'm here with my friend Sally Kirkman from sallykirkman.com. I'm Christina Rodenbeck from the Oxford Astrologer, and we are going to dissect and discuss the month ahead, the Sagittarius month from, is it the 22nd or 23rd of November?
22nd
to the solstice.
21st of December.
Hi, Sally. How are you?
I'm really well.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm really well. It's kind of been Scorpio season. Obviously, favorite time of year. You know, being a Scorpio. It's been full on and busy and a lot going on, which I love. Been working hard. Did my 2026 horoscopes ebook that's out for pre-order now. Get that in. And I had a lovely birthday. I went walking up Golden Cap in Dorset on the coast, and it was the most beautiful sunny day. And just had the best time, really. So, yeah, I had a really lovely week out and then got back to work. So I've either been, I've been throwing myself intensely to whatever I've been doing. So it's been good. It's been very nice.
You're looking very well, my dear.
Thank you.
You're looking very bonny. It's been quite a month, though. I mean, shall we dive straight into our retrodiction?
Yes, let's. Well, how's it been for you?
Well, as we record this, we've already dived into the Mercury Retrograde, and Uranus has already gone back from Gemini into Taurus. And actually, just at this moment, I have had some of the most pivotal days of recent years, actually, just within 36 hours. And I mean, there's some interesting astrological reasons for that, which I will go into. But my daughter, I'll just tell you this in order. What happened is that I had to put my cat to sleep, who is my 18-year-old cat, who I absolutely love. Who you met, Sally? Heart.
And I loved Heart as well.
Heart
won me over.
He was the best. He won you over from being a dog person to being
I know. So
cat light. But he was really, really, really nice cat and had a great character, and I loved him. And he was very ill, and it took me a long time to make that decision, but I actually had to decide. But on the day that the vet came around, so the vet came to the door, and she was like the angel of death. She was beautiful, tiny, dressed completely in black, with beautiful black hair and very dark black eyes, and very kind with her assistant. And she came in, she was an incredible death doula. And it was a really beautiful experience for everybody. So my daughter was there, she and I, and the two people from the vets did that. And then my other daughter came back from abroad, from France, later that day. Then we had a funeral for my cat in the garden, which was at night. It was a very scorpionic funeral with like candles under the apple tree. And then the next day, my daughter, my eldest, Dora, got on a plane to Shanghai. So she left. My other daughter came, and my cat left. And for me, this is all huge because Dora's going to Australia she has got a one-way ticket. And Lily has been actually in France, so she's been very far away. So she came home like a thing. And the astrology of this is, I mean, there's lots of bits of astrology. I won't go deep into it, but I think it's interesting to note that this is the moment that Uranus comes back onto my North Node, which is on my midheaven. So that's what I do in life, is changing. And what I have been doing in my life, as well as being an astrologer, is actually I do a lot of looking after people, looking after my children and looking after my pets. And that they were all, one went to heaven, or cat heaven. I hope he is gambling around with his brother. But he was very time consuming in his later years.
Yeah.
Dora has gone to Australia. She's off. And Lily, my other daughter, happens to have a Uranus Sun conjunction with me anyway.
Mm,
So she's
mm,
back temporarily. She's about to go off too. But all of that was around the North Node, plus,
mm.
of course, Mercury retrograde. So also the Gemini, who is the Mercury, comes back,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, quite amazing astrology actually. And also when as you're talking, it just makes me, we're in this time when the planets are moving from Scorpio to Sagittarius, and Scorpio is the death and the letting go. And Sagittarius is also this, these daughters who are abroad,
Yeah,
and there's
long
this
distance
traveling
travel.
as well. So even as you're talking, you're just talking about this shift in season too.
Yeah,
There's your personal astrology, but it's kind of really you're fully in what's happening in the now.
very much so. And the other aspect of this current astrology, which is still ongoing,
Mm,
is this incredible watery grand trine,
mm,
which for me is right near my, it fits in with all my Pisces planets. So I have Saturn, Mars, Chiron conjunction in Pisces and Mercury,
yeah.
right? So all of those planets are in a big glob among, and most of the asteroids as well, folks. So super
Mm,
Pisces here.
mm,
But that was making this incredible, beautiful grand trine with Lilith, who is the death doula, who arrived at my front door, literally, as
mm,
you know. And yet Lilith is in Scorpio, right? And she's been there for 9 months and she will leave on the 20th of December. But she is many things, but one of the things she is she can be the mistress between life and death. Um, she takes you through from one side to the other, so she can be there at births and deaths. And she's making a perfect at that day. She was making a perfect grand trine aspect with
mm,
Saturn in Pisces and Jupiter in Cancer. So you have this watery grand trine, which snaps into my chart and literally comes across my um,
mm,
IC as well
mm,
at the
mm,
same time. So she's about to step across my, she's on, that's the threshold of, and the IC is the threshold of my very house. And there she was.
mm. Yeah, it's amazing. And it's a way of showing how this grand trine in water's playing out as well, isn't it? Because it's such a kind of flow of emotion.
Mm,
And I think for anyone who's got this, the watery grand trines that are kind of ongoing at the moment, in your triggering your chart, it's the flow of emotion. And when you get something that's like the passing of a loved animal,
mm,
or a loved one, there's loss. You feel emotions. There's sort of sadness and melancholy, but also there's love. It's
mm,
kind of the whole. It's you're really in that emotional realm where the
mm.
emotions are so kind of powerful, intense, and you're really feeling them. They're
Yeah.
the moments in life where you really feel so deeply. I mean, quite special actually too.
Yeah, really profound. And actually, Venus was making a conjunction to Lilith at that moment as well. And we did cry a lot,
Yeah.
in a good way, because it was
Mm,
his time. And like I
mm,
said, it was, and also I thought it was interesting that I did have to decide, which I felt was very kind of Mercury. It's like, you have to make this decision.
yeah.
And I did. And the death doula, the vet, now known as the death doula, she said something really useful to me at that moment. She said, better a week too early than a day too late.
Yeah.
And so that I just thought, okay, that's it.
Mm,
That's it.
mm, mm.
We'll do it now.
Yeah. Very
Um,
powerful.
Instead of prolonging this sense of waiting, and I think that's true for a lot of people right now. And also probably going into the next month is you've got to do stuff. So there's a lot of planets retrograde. But that doesn't mean you stop doing things. That means you
Mm,
find things out or
mm,
you make some decisions. And also it's interesting, we're always talking about how do you make a decision with Mercury retrograde? And sometimes you do and sometimes you don't, right? There's
mm,
not a definite rule about it.
mm. Yeah, and this is such a different Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
It's so different. I mean, it starts in Sagittarius, moves back into Scorpio, which is the 19th of November, so when this podcast comes out. So there's that. But it also, Mercury makes connections with all the other planets during its retrograde phase, which is quite unusual. So it's not, some Mercury retrogrades are really a time to sort of go inwards, be on retreat, slow down, reflect, review. This is not that Mercury retrograde. It's busy as anything, actually, that little Mercury. It's going, right, we need to find this out. Right, we need to discover that. Right, we need to look at this. It's super busy. And I'm kind of very, been aware of that talking to clients, quite a few clients who've got things that they really need to go back over, find out, discover, rework, talk to lots of different people before then they can kind of decide what next. So there's this real kind of activity around it, isn't there, with what's going on with Mercury?
And I also feel that there's a lot of clearing out that people are doing. Like they're making these decisions, right? Okay, I cannot continue with this. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to throw out those things. There's a definite feeling this Mercury retrograde is involved with the deck clearing. So the clearing of also the clearing of debts, I think, when it gets into Scorpio,
both.
particularly. But all of that clearing in order to have this new start in 2026. But this is a major part of it, this Mercury retrograde, I feel. And it's like the time to be dealing with the details rather than, you probably may have a bigger picture view of where you're going to be going. But there's details that you need to go back over stuff.
Yeah. And just one thing I do want to say, because when I was thinking about the symbolism for me right at the start of Scorpio season, this is kind of off on a tangent a bit, but when Neptune went back into Pisces, on the very day it went back into Pisces, I had a major leak, water streaming into the hall, and one of the toilets in my flat nearly fell off the wall. Ooh. I mean, so it was like, oh, get all this is too much water. I've got to get all this water sorted out. Which I thought, what's that symbolic of? Not sure. What's draining away?
Yeah. That happened when, just to get really that happened when my mum died in her house. The roof leaked, the toilet broke, the dishwasher broke, the whole place just sort of fell to bits. But it was all water. And I think that's the watery grand trine that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And water is also, it's sort of weird. It's kind of a connection to the other world, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a connection to the other world, what lies beyond.
Yeah,
particularly with
the only one who's had that death and then water breakage thing. I think I've spoken with other people for whom that was also the case.
Yeah, and the water signs are that. I mean, Cancer's really, it's the connection to the past. Scorpio, the connection to life beyond the veil. Pisces, just life beyond, connection to the universe. So all the water signs take you kind of out of who you are and remind you of that connectedness of past, future, self, outer, inner, all of it, don't they? It's a real
we're not living in just a material world, basically, that there is more, there's stuff that you can't see.
Yeah.
And that connects to those particular houses of the zodiac as well. They're literally the unseen houses, the houses that you can't see very well, especially the 12th and the 8th.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that's why Scorpio season is so, interesting. And, why we have the Day of the Dead and Halloween and all those moments when you're looking at, and then we crash into Sagittarius season and the fires are lit and people, it's very social Sagittarius season, isn't it?
It's interesting, isn't it, that each star sign, when it moves to the next, they're opposites almost, or they're different, and I can sense that because Scorpio season, I mean, I've been spending quite a lot of time on my own and enjoying that, and partly to get work done, but I can feel myself now thinking, it's coming to, party season and wanting to get out there and be more extrovert and not be as introvert, actually, which is interesting because I know for some people moving into winter in the northern hemisphere, they want to cozy down and hibernate. But I can literally feel Sagittarius pulling me out, wanting to, meet up with people, be more extrovert, be more fiery.
Yeah, I think save your introversion for the uh Capricorn season, but even
Yes.
then,
Mm,
traditionally, this is a season, this coming up, December, is when you may be hibernating, but you're doing it in a group. These are group, the traditional thing is the Saturnalia followed by 12 days of Christmas.
mm,
Then you get into this hibernation thing, which is
yeah.
from whatever mid-January onwards after the 12th day
Mm.
of Christmas.
Yeah,
Early,
January, February often feel to me in this country like deep winter.
yeah.
And you're thinking, God, when's the light gonna return? Where's the sun? I mean, at those months, that's when it's kind of deep winter in a way, which is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we make it it's an illusion to say that the sort of midwinter solstice is midwinter. That's not midwinter. It's the beginning of
Mm.
winter.
Yeah, it's the beginning.
That is the start of the
Yeah,
winter season.
yeah.
Um, Winter is coming.
It is.
But
I'm
we all have
actually,
to go crazy beforehand.
and I'm just at the moment really loving. I mean, here we've had rain, we've had wild winds, we've had some gorgeous sunny days, amazing sunrises and sunsets. It's been like, I love this time of year when you get the whole gamut of weather. It's like, let's go out in the rain, let's go out and living by the sea. I mean, the sea really delivers when it's a storm's raging. It's fantastic.
And it's really warm.
It
I
is, it's mild. I keep putting on too many clothes and then having to peel them off. Yeah.
Sort of warm and windy, which is a lovely feeling, and all the leaves blowing up, etc.
Mm,
So what of this coming month? I mean, the Mercury continues to be retrograde until the 29th of November.
November. Mm,
Um, so that's really important. So we're still
mm,
in this Mercury retrograde. So Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio. The Sun has moved into Sagittarius. Venus is moving into Sagittarius. And Mars is in Sagittarius. So we're in, this is quite a fiery time.
mm. It is a fiery time, and I think it's kind of feeling like that already.
Mm,
Um, it does feel like that already. I mean, interesting because I think with the Mercury turning direct. I mean, that is the remember the sort of Mercury direct kind of tips that look out for information on news that comes to light on that date. What is appearing from what's hidden, and also once Mercury's direct, it's a good time to reopen lines of communication, chase things up as well. For me, I think because Mercury turns direct in Scorpio on November 29th, but moves back into Sagittarius on December the 11th. And I think that could be another significant turning point because that's where it turned retrograde. So there's these sort of two opportunities for things to start materializing or kind of come to fruition with Mercury this month. I think they're quite important.
and Mercury, things of Mercury would be ideas, for example, or exchanges with people, or
Mm,
deals that you're making. It's interesting that early on in this discussion, the idea of debt came up. There's going to be stuff around paying off debt, dealing with debt. Um, we in this country we have the budget coming up.
yeah,
I can't remember what day she's doing that, but that's going to be all about the national debt and
yeah,
how they're going to deal with it. Is it a I mean, something insane amount of money that that this country's in debt, but dealing with debt. And I also think that's really interesting that the Epstein files have come up
yeah,
again just yesterday, that secrets are coming out.
mm,
And some of these secrets are scorpionic secrets, which would be secrets about sex and
yeah,
money, right?
yeah,
The exchange of sex and money. And that's what that man was about, was he was blackmailing people, and he was using weird sex stuff to do it with.
mm,
And also it's often about enslavement, that
mm,
axis of Scorpio Taurus. And
mm,
it's interesting that this Mercury is going back there again and saying there's more information to come out and we need to
mm.
talk about this.
Yeah.
And that Epstein files are just an example of that. So there's
Mm.
lots of other ways this will be playing out as well.
Yeah. And it's interesting because we're doing, at the moment we've got these new moons happening right at the end of the star sign. So the Scorpio new moon's on, November the 20th, and this podcast comes out before then. We haven't had that new moon yet, which we talked about in last month's podcast. And that looked, particularly crazy for money.
Yeah.
Because we've got Uranus, the unpredictable, volatile planet back in Taurus now. And opposite that, the new moon. I mean, and will continue to be active moving forward. There's a Venus Uranus opposition on November 30th, a Mercury Uranus opposition, another one on December 10th. So Uranus is back in the picture. And I was looking at that, the new moon. It does feel like a crazy time for money and finances.
Yeah.
So bonkers time to have a budget. Just saying. I think it's the 26th of November, I'm fairly sure. So Mercury's still retrograde.
Yeah, so but she's been cat-handed from the start, hasn't she?
Yeah, I don't think the right decision's going to be made, personally.
No, I'm sure that they won't be, because they're they're short-termist, and it's all about appeasing the markets. Yeah, no, I'm very dubious about the whole thing. I've been dubious about her from the start because of other stuff. But she hasn't made me feel any more confident.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, anyway, there was a funny political thing here yesterday, which was like Keir Starmer saying, "I'm going to stand firm, even if people are trying to take my job from inside the party." And everybody was like, really? That was happening? So he just completely let the cat out of the bag. So this sense of instability is very Uranus and Taurus, opposite that Scorpio stuff. And that's also true, I think, in other parts of the world as well.
And Mercury retrograde, be careful what you say.
Yeah.
Be careful what you're saying, particularly, for anyone listening to this. For Mercury's retrograde in Scorpio from November 19th to November 29th, it's still really be careful what you say. Keep your cards close to your chest. Don't reveal everything. Don't give, let the cat out the bag.
Well, and when yeah, exactly. And currently, of course, is in Sagittarius, which is like, you're going to talk too much. Okay.
Yes.
Probably what we're doing right now. We're talking too much, but you may say stuff that you shouldn't say because you're talking too much. And what Mercury retrograde is about finding stuff out and getting other people to reveal their secrets while you listen.
Yes. Yeah, it's get your Scorpio detective hat on, isn't it? Get your detective hat on, and be a good Scorpio. Actually, works well during any Mercury retrograde. This one particularly, find things out, read between the lines, look beneath the surface, and find out what's going on. I mean, just talking like with the star signs, the Taurus Scorpio axis is money. It is about money as well as about the body and sex. But just thinking, who that might be particularly relevant for with this quite crazy energy going on there. I mean, Aries and Libra, it's your money sectors. So, that's where to be, find things out, work out the best thing to do. Ideally, wait for Mercury to turn direct before making any of those big decisions. And that's across the board, isn't it, as well, with really, if you've got to make a big financial decision, do a big deal, or make an investment, it's wise to do it when Mercury's not in retreat. So next month, December.
Although I would say the other thing that's wise is to have a look at your investments, your bank account, what your money's doing, and have a rethink. And you may find there's a leak. You know what I mean? That you're spending money on something you don't get, that you have subscriptions that don't work, all of that stuff. Very boring, but deal with it.
Yeah, you see, being a Scorpio, I don't understand that because I know exactly what's going out and coming in.
Oh, well, being a Pisces, I have no idea, right?
I'm kind of like, how do people have subscriptions they don't know they're paying?
And I have to say that I have had such problems with PayPal during this Uranus on 0 degrees of Gemini. PayPal, I've been dealing with them since the 15th of October
Mm-hmm.
with their what are they called? The customer support, right? It's so boring, but they are so hopeless. And I talked to my IT guy and he said, yeah, I stopped using PayPal years ago because their customer support is so bad.
Yeah.
Fine if nothing's going wrong. As soon as something goes wrong, you're in like this weird world of like, I'm talking to the Philippines and, I'm talking to Tiffany.
You
Uh,
be you're lucky to talk to anyone, to be quite
oh
fair.
my
When
word.
I had issues with PayPal and they blooming closed my account. Could I find anyone to talk to? I never did. It all had to just be messaging, messaging, messaging. Finally, it got resolved. But the joy of talking to Tiffany in the Philippines, I mean, that would have been fantastic.
Well, Tiffany's very nice, but she can't actually do anything. She's lovely. And so
Mm,
is Stefania and, all the other ones. Mike, they're all really nice. Oh, we'll get back to you. I literally, though, have had them hang up on me,
have you?
not because I was being mean or anything, just because, oh, we'll deal with that. I'll put you
Mm,
on hold.
mm, mm. So, is it still sorted out? Or you
It's
still,
all
no,
sorted
you're
out.
still,
It's all
well,
sorted out. And it's really quite serious because it's business for me.
God. When's it going to get sorted? Will it be until the end of the month?
Yeah. I mean, it just reminded me I have to deal with it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it
Mercury
ends
turning direct.
directly.
Maybe that's when you finally get to the bottom of it all.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, but yes, I would say to my friends listening, also have a look at your stuff like that. Um, or whatever else might be draining your wallet in some way,
Yeah.
draining your savings
Yeah.
during the Mercury retrograde, because that's
Yeah.
partly what this one's about.
And also again, there's this, we've got it's interesting because Jupiter's turned retrograde now in Cancer, and we've had Neptune and Saturn retrograde in Pisces and the Mercury retrograde. And that's also there's a theme with clients as well of just things feeling like things are going backwards and they're not able to resolve things, and we've got to wait for the planets almost to move forward. It's interesting that this month we'll have Saturn turns direct on the 28th in Pisces and Neptune turns direct on the 10th of December. So those planets, there's going to be a bit of a forward motion then. But really, I mean, we're in this time of endings and beginnings, and the
Mm.
new beginnings now are next year, aren't they? The big theme.
Yeah, it's interesting about resolving things in a Mercury retrograde because normally I would say, yeah, you have to wait. But I actually think with this one, there are things you can finish off. You can be resolving
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Mm, mm.
And for example, I would say also that while the Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius, which finishes quite soon. Ooh, speaking of retrogrades, here comes my coffee in the form of David. Thank you.
How lovely.
Cheers, everybody.
She's got it sorted. She's getting coffee brought to her. Perfect. Well done.
So
Anyway,
yeah, I've lost track of what I was saying. Yeah, I think there are things that you can resolve during
yes.
Mercury retrograde. For
Yeah.
example, editing, or having to put your cat to sleep. Actually,
Oh.
was a Mercury retrograde thing. I felt
Mm.
that was involved with that.
Mm. Yeah, and I've got someone who's determined to get their past taxes
Yes,
done, during this Mercury retrograde. And yes, good time to do so. It's fantastic for doing that.
I really think that's an excellent example, actually.
Mm. Mm.
Getting your taxes sorted out.
Mm.
Um, yes,
Yeah,
so
and
you can
I mean,
resolve
again,
stuff that has been hanging around, or make questions that have been hanging over your head. I think you can answer them and resolve them during the Mercury retrograde.
mm. Mm. Yeah, and I'm finding personally that I'm finding this time quite productive.
Yeah.
I am getting a lot ticked off my lists.
Yeah, I mean, I have, as some of you may know, I have this Lilith book that I'm finishing, and I've been finishing for a while. Well, I got sat down on Monday, and I dealt with all this stuff
Yeah.
for it. It's done, right?
Mm.
And that was a classic Mercury retrograde thing to do
Mm.
because it's to do with words and finishing. It will be out, I think, at the end of February,
Mm.
um, or maybe the beginning of February. I will let you know. We will do some marketing. We'll actually try and market it. But I also felt it's interesting that Lilith has been involved in this watery grand trine, so everything went very smoothly. I just sat down and did it in,
Yes. Yeah.
I did sit down for 10 hours during the day to
Yeah.
get it out of the way. So
Mm.
I did come out of my chair kind of completely crumpled.
Yes. Yeah.
I
Sitting
wrote
too.
this.
And that means that Lilith will be in Sagittarius when it comes out,
Yeah,
the
which is
publishing
perfect.
star
Publishing.
sign.
Exactly.
Great. Brilliant.
Yeah.
On that
Um,
note, should we have a look at a chart?
yeah, can you put where are we? We're on the full moon, aren't we?
We are because we've got this kind of the new moons are right at the end of the star sign. So the Scorpio new moon is November 20th, which we talked about last podcast. And the full moon this month is on 4th of December. So the sun and moon are already at 13 degrees. The sun's at 13 Sagittarius, the moon at 13 Gemini, and we get this full moon cutting across those two star signs, which, often I think of as, well, they're the educational, aren't they? They're about schools, education, communication, travel, transport. It's this axis, the Gemini Sagittarius axis. And probably at this time of year, a lot of people are thinking, also, Mercury's no longer direct by the full moon, are thinking, making travel plans for the holiday season. Or I'm thinking about what they want to do next year too. That's one of the best ways of using Sagittarius season is plan what you're going to do next year. Look at your trips, look at your holidays, look at your study courses, the experiences of life. Sagittarius wants to be out there, it wants to be out there seeing the world, getting involved.
One thing that really struck, first of all, I want to just mention Thanksgiving and say I think the chart for Thanksgiving is exceptionally good this year,
Okay.
which is end of November. I like it. I think that, get together, be heartfelt over Thanksgiving, speaking of holiday stuff.
Mm.
Secondly, I'm just looking at this full moon chart and I'm actually stunned by the sun and moon. So moon is in Gemini. It's the full moon in Gemini. It's your full moon, Geminis. It happens once a year. Here it is. It's on the bendings. It's exactly on the halfway mark between the two eclipse points.
It is, isn't it?
And that is pivotal. It is not obvious in the way that some of the other stuff, the other lunations we've looked at have been really obvious because it's a big stelliums and stuff. But this is pivotal, especially probably for Sagittarius and Gemini.
Yeah.
There's some major, and possibly for Pisces and Virgo. There may be some decision you make. This may be a big turning point in the lives of certain people.
Yeah.
And it may be a decision to, I'm thinking of it, a decision to take flight, to leave where you are, to go on a long trip, to take a step into education that of a different kind. Like higher education, do an MA, do a DPhil, whatever it is you're going to do. But it's like, it's exciting, actually, this moment. It's like, or maybe something that you've been planning for a while and you're like, okay, that's it. I'm gone. I'm off. I'm doing this now.
And I think pivotal for all the mutable signs, so Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, and also it could be pivotal for any of those star signs actually about a relationship, and maybe deciding to move and be with the one you love who lives abroad, or the two of you are going to join forces, and it could be a business partnership as well that starts on this. It's something exciting that you're planning for the future. Also, I was going to say, go on. Are you go on? I go on.
Please, it's my pleasure.
Thank you very much. It's a Gemini moon. So the rule of this full moon is Mercury in Scorpio, and Mercury is again going back into this wonderful grand water trine. It's about to team up with Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune really quickly at this time over the next few days. So not only do we have this kind of axis in the mutable star signs, bringing the sun, moon, and nodes, but there's a gorgeous grand water trine forming again. And this is the last one, isn't it? This is the finale. We've had quite a few, but this is the final one with Mercury moving through Scorpio.
It's really spectacular, actually. Really spectacular. And, that it's like taking flight because the grand water trine is being in a state of flow as well. One of the things that I found with it is it's been very, very creative for me. Like I feel like I'm flowing with creative ideas, and some of those are going to take off. And I think other people will be feeling that too. Yeah, I love it. And I love this Mercury. By now it's direct, right? And as you say, it's going fast. It sweeps along to Lilith, which is still making the still connected to that grand trine in water. So there's it's like these secrets are floating up to the surface in a way that's very easy. So there's no difficulty with it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that we're talking about, secrets, and this is a Gemini full moon, and full moons do tend to be moments of revelation. They're when things come out. You can't hide stuff under a full moon. It comes out, right? And it's in Gemini, the sign of information. So there's more stuff to come out.
Yeah. Yeah. And also just to say for, the three water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, this is about where these grand water trines, they're falling in your personal sector, they're falling in your creative sector, and they're falling in what you could call the inspirational sector. So it is encouraging you as well to do more of what you love, to flow, to create some, have your vision, have your dreams, and really kind of lean into that and have that some dreams, big goals, big dreams that you want moving forward for the future. So I think it's all really lovely. And it could be, again, for all the water signs, it could be a love affair, could be a romance, a love affair, because water signs, love is one of the ways where we fall, isn't it? You fall in love. I mean, and you can lose yourself in love. Don't do that, but do it in a nice way. But yeah, there's a romantic swirl to it too.
Yeah. And very social. I mean, I think, Sagittarius is a pretty social sign, frankly, and so is Gemini. And there's something it's like you might go, for some people, I think, you might go to a very important gathering, for example, around this full moon, especially, say, Aquarians, maybe. Aquarius and Leo, it's the groups that, there may be some connection with people. Probably, I'm thinking of the classic office party, actually, around this full moon, where something or someone big might happen. It's good to get out there, or a sort of theatrical event, go to the pantomime on the full moon. But there's something that may happen at the full moon, which is actually very good. It's flowing, it's real. Communications flow, or you may suddenly have a kind of revelation. And it's interesting because it's like quite often you look at this and you think, oh, the moon is the most important feature on this full moon, which it is because it's the moon. So that brings in the sign of Cancer. But I feel like a lot of the other planets are participating in this. It feels much more kind of sort of democratic. It's all around the zodiac.
It's a get together, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a get together. It's a great time for a get together, a workshop, a conference, party, whatever. But yeah, there's a real sense of togetherness during this, and being around people who you like.
Like that. And I'm thinking it's a Thursday, but it moves that energy will flow into the weekend that follows as well. So there's a really, yeah, it's really good for
Mm,
your relationships,
mm,
essentially, of all different kinds, whether that's buddies or partnerships or colleagues, in
mm.
multiple different ways.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
like
and a lot of key planets in. I mean, we've got the Sun in Sagittarius during this, but also Venus is there and Mars is there. So, and Juno as well, actually. That's about, for me, that's about kind of how and why are you expanding your horizons? Who else are you wanting to meet up with or kind of almost include in your circle? Where can you widen your circle too? I mean, it might be meeting up with people from different cultural backgrounds or getting in touch with people from abroad. There's a real sense of expansion on this full moon.
Mm, I agree. I really like it. And I like the conjunction of Juno and Mars on the full moon, which again
Mm,
will spill over into the coming, fortnight, really. There's that energy of like doing something, taking action around honor in Sagittarius, It feels, well, we'll see what happens on the political front. There's always something happening this year, isn't there? I mean, and
yeah.
next year it's just so busy.
Mm,
But I'm wondering, I'm thinking it's also maybe a full moon where someone makes a very important speech.
yeah.
It looks like to me a speech about what it means to be an honorable person, which I would like to hear more of, frankly.
Me too. Absolutely. Let's go.
Bring it on, guys. Let's talk
Yeah.
about honor. Let's talk about what it means to be a person of, doing the right thing. What does
Yes.
what does what does do the right thing mean?
Yeah. And be a human being, be a good human being. The division. I mean, the division. I had can't remember who it was now, but there was a speech that I heard someone say about let's stop dividing people between race and religion. Let's look at who's a decent human being and who's not. If we're going to do division, do that. And I thought that was fantastic.
It's interesting because we've just been through this long, long period of identity politics
Mm,
where it's like I'm a blah 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 whatever, and that's been had its uses. It's been important, but actually it becomes just straightforwardly divisive. Um, when actually it's about values and morals that we should really be thinking
mm,
about. Values and
mm.
morals. Do we share the same values?
Yeah.
And that's the real question. And I think that's quite, and so when we're in Sagittarius season anyway, it's a philosophical sign, you know, and it's a sign that doesn't really recognize, say, it doesn't do tribes in that way. It does
Mm,
philosophy, which is,
mm.
what are the values?
Yeah.
And it's interesting that it's currently, the planet that rules Sagittarius is currently in Cancer, which is a sign that very much does tribes.
Yes.
So there, what does that mean? And also that they're in a so it's a quincunx. It's not, it's like slightly crooked, although it's said to be exalted in Cancer,
Jupiter.
isn't it?
Oh
Or
yeah, it's a protective influence. It's the great protector. It's that side of Jupiter that can come out.
yes, which, and our ancestors, right? When they were sort of talking about astrology, quite often they have quite a sort of patriarchal view of what's good and what's bad, right? So,
Mm,
Venus and Aries, oh, that's a bad thing.
mm.
Or Venus and Scorpio, we don't like that. But also some of the stuff that's really supposedly good is too much. Like Jupiter and Cancer can be too much of that tribal stuff. So I think there's a questioning about that may be happening with this June,
Yeah.
the Juno Mars conjunction that makes that in conjunct to Jupiter and Cancer.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, and again, a planet in a sign plays out in different ways. I think Jupiter in Cancer, I mean, it is like that. It's love your family. Who is your family? So there's a tribal side to it, but I think it's, that Mikasa is Sukasa, my home's your home. That to me also is part of the Jupiter in Cancer feel. Love thy neighbor as thyself, all of that. You know.
Yeah.
She's coming out with all the quotes now. But Jupiter in Cancer can be about that. It's care about your family, but the wider family as well. So tribes can, I mean, all these things, tribes can work in different ways, can't it? They can work in different ways. It can be alienating, or it can be, well, who is in my tribe? I don't even like the word tribe, actually.
Oh, this, yes. Now we're getting philosophical, you see.
Well, let's not use it. Family. Who's my family? Is the world my family?
Well, I mean, family, as we know, is a complex thing, isn't it? So
Mm,
being in the family or out of the family, I mean, I'm thinking of this from the point of view of Lilith, who also is making an interest, part of this grand trine. And,
yeah.
the problem with families is that they can, the mafia is the family, right? Right. The family can put you outside once you're outside of the family, what happens? You're in the cold.
Yeah.
Right. And so being in, this is what I think the issue is around this Jupiter and Cancer actually is like being inside or outside of the family is
Mm,
not always a good thing. Even, like I'm thinking about family honor, which is so often contained in the body of the women of the family, so you have honor killings, right?
yeah.
And so, I mean, all of those issues, I'd be interesting to see if any of those issues actually come up during December, around what family is. And actually, one thing I've found with this Jupiter and Cancer transit is that a lot of Cancerians I've known have been like, where's my kind of lucky transit? Actually, I'm completely overwhelmed by emotion.
Well, yes, there is
Bit
that.
too
It's an
much.
outpouring of emotion. It's like, and a lot of Cancerians I know dealing with really big emotional issues,
Yeah.
very often within their family.
Mm, mm.
So they've been, the emotion's been really flowing. So, but this is, a symbol doesn't mean just one thing. It
Yeah,
plays out
exactly.
in
That's
different
why
ways.
family is such an interesting one
Mm,
because there's family, lovely, cozy family. I love
mm,
my family, and we were discussing how my family is flying free, and I love that. But then there's also the family, which controls you and
mm.
oppresses you and
Yeah.
keeps you indoors. For women, through multiple, millennia, family has had this incredible kind of thing of you're looking after the family, right, in many many cultures, but also you're oppressed by the family
Mm, mm. And you're birthing the family.
and you're birthing the family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I mean, and
Complex.
family is, when we get to the, like Thanksgiving and then we'll get to the sort of Christmas festivities. I mean, family's not easy for a lot of people.
Yeah.
That getting together with the family creates all sorts of emotional baggage and stuff that comes to the surface. We all have this idea of what and then all the adverts that you get on telly are like, oh, it's the perfect family. We're all getting together and we're all happy and having a lovely time. That happens rarely in my experience.
No, I know. And also, what about the people who don't have family anymore?
Yes.
And I can't remember what the statistics are about people who live on their own.
Yeah.
And then we're all supposed to be getting together at this sort of Christmas thing.
Mm,
I think, mind you, that the before Christmas, this month that we're talking about, the Sagittarian month, actually looks really good, but not necessarily for the family get together.
mm,
For that, and I'm thinking now about the Thanksgiving where maybe your Thanksgiving is going to be with your friends,
yeah.
you know. Your family, the family that you make with your friends is
Yeah.
actually maybe the family of choice
Mm,
is is something that we talk about a lot actually in the
yeah.
21st and late 20th century is this family of choice that you make to
Yeah.
escape from that closet from the the what's the word that they're not the choking the smothering which can be that Jupiter in Cancer, that smothering family.
Yeah. Yeah. And
um
that's often, yeah, with that. And just creating, I mean, I've got an only daughter. So she's often, when she was younger, brought up, no siblings.
mm,
And I would talk about the importance of creating family in your life,
mm.
having friends in your life who are like family. Some of my dearest friends are family to me. So I'm going to put up another chart, lovely.
Okay.
Because I'm just aware of our time.
Yeah, well, we're the astrological family here. We're
With
making,
the astrology, we are. We create family,
yeah,
people coming together, don't we? As well. Yeah, because we're moving into the rest of the month. I mean, one of the big shift is Mars moving into Capricorn, which happens on the 15th of December. So leading the way into Capricorn season, and the sun will move into Capricorn on the solstice, which is the 21st. And the new moon, therefore, is right at the end again, isn't it? It's the day before. It's on the 20th of December. There's a new moon at 28 degrees Sagittarius. Um, so we're getting these new moons right at the end of the star signs, very kind of almost tuning in to the outer planets, the modern planets, as they're kind of moving in and out of the last degree of a sign and the first degree. They're in tune with it, aren't they?
yeah, yeah. I mean, that new moon will be making the square to Neptune,
And
Saturn.
Saturn, both of them, really.
Yeah. And it's interesting because new moon, is the dark of the moon, and then we get into the solstice, which is the dark of the sun, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it's quite an intense, like, okay, now we're shifting into this new, into the inner time, which
Mm,
really happens into this Capricorn season. Although there's still sort of jollity and stuff because Venus remains in Sagittarius, and so does Mercury.
yeah.
So it's a kind of lovely, and I think that's often the case at Christmas, is that actually we're moving to an inner time, but we're still very social. But
Mm,
I note also that Mars has moved into Capricorn, which is, earthy, the earthy signs. It moves in earlier. It's like it's beating the way for the sun to follow.
mm. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's kind of this feels like a push-pull. I would imagine for Capricorn, there's a
Yeah.
real push-pull. This new moon's in the most hidden sector of your horoscope. And there is a sense of wanting to kind of go inwards, turn inwards at this time of year. But you got Mars in Capricorn saying, come on, let's be productive. Let's do some goal setting. Let's get things moving. Um, and then we've got this new moon in Sagittarius square to Saturn, Capricorn's planet, also square to Neptune. So it does feel, I almost feel like people may feel a bit conflicted about what to do at this time of year. Shall I say yes to that party?
And,
Shall I go to another office party, or shall I stay home and just binge watch Netflix instead?
or do both. Yeah. I agree. I think it is quite conflicty. It always
Mm,
is, isn't it? I mean, there's such contrasting signs.
yeah,
Jupiter ruled Sagittarius, and then Saturn ruled Capricorn. This
yeah,
is such a massive shift. I mean, there's
yeah,
always a shift between signs when
yes.
the sun goes through the signs,
Mm,
but some more than others. And there's just this excitability around Sagittarius,
mm,
and like people getting on planes and going to parties and taking and traveling, and um just there's I remember, I look back at December's past, and I just think so often when you get to that point in the year of the first 3 weeks of December, there's suddenly all the stuff that's been building up over the year. People just want to exchange, they want to talk about it. Stuff happens, people get together, people fall out, um, people are laid off. This is often that's what happens at this time as well. So there's
mm,
all this activity, and then you get to this sudden drop off, this sudden silence
mm.
and slowness of the Capricorn time. And that can feel like quite a strange contrast, can't it?
Yeah. And the other thing that this makes me think of as well, because um there's always a lot of activity in Sagittarius season. And this is 20th of December, so a lot of the schools will be finished as well, just at the end of this date. And there's the teachers who've been manic doing nativity plays and doing Christmas fairs. And then it stops, and then very often they get ill.
Yeah.
You know?
I was just thinking this looks quite exhausting.
It does look exhausting. So be careful, when so many planets in fire signs at this new moon, be careful of burnout so you don't spend all the Christmas holidays laid up with, the lurgy,
Yeah. And
sipping on
also
lemsips.
that Saturn Neptune squaring the new moon
Mm,
is also
mm,
quite kind of like just rest, okay? Just stop.
yeah, just
Stop it.
rest.
And I
Yeah.
think looking at this, we're building up to this new moon through the month from the full moon. I would say pace yourselves and don't overdo it. Because there
Mm,
just seems to me like this frenzy. Because up until a few days previous to this, Mars is in Sagittarius too. It's so
yeah,
fiery,
yeah,
and Sagittarius is a sign of exaggeration. We are inclined to kind of overdo it. Everybody is
yeah.
at this, Sagittarius season anyway, but with the Mars added to it, and Mercury and Venus are all buzzing around in there. It just feels really full on, and it's being squared by Saturn Neptune,
Mm,
which is not like that at all.
yeah. It's almost, sun, and it feels like a new moon of prayer,
Yeah.
actually. It'd be a good weekend to go off on a spiritual retreat, I think, this one, and really turn inwards. Also, though, just for thinking about, Aries, because Mars has moved into Capricorn, it might be on this new moon that you're starting to look ahead, career, vocation wise, future path with Mars in your career sector, looking to make some new beginnings moving forward for that.
And on the same note, it looks like Libra's going to have everybody around their house,
Yeah.
isn't it? Libra, Virgo, you're going to have everybody around your house. You're
Mm,
going to be really busy. And I would say get as much help in as you can.
mm,
Um,
Interesting new moon.
it's like a frenzied new moon. I mean,
Mm,
I'm also thinking about, that again, that square. But for Pisces, it also may be that lots and lots of career stuff is happening
yes.
through the whole month,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Like you're
Yeah.
having to talk to people, things are happening, offers are coming in. You're just really, really busy. You may be on display in some way at this,
Mm,
even at this new moon, which may not be making you feel that comfortable, actually, but it's
mm,
quite good for finishing some stuff off.
yeah. And it could be quite good for you, Pisces, couldn't it, too? There's if this big kind of opportunity comes up on this weekend, it's probably a good one to say yes to, even if you're not feeling comfortable,
Yeah.
because it could really put you in the limelight,
Yeah.
during this time and get you out there, with all that's going on in your career sector.
The other thing, just again about the new moon. So when we talk about the new moon, it does sort of flow, that energy does kind of flow into the next couple of weeks as well. It is making an exact in conjunct quincunx, isn't it, to Uranus and Taurus.
Mm, mm,
So it's like it's going to turn on that Uranus again, something. So for Taurians, there's some kind of stimulation that comes at that um, from that new moon, actually, and from
mm,
every single planet that's passing through the end of Sagittarius. It's going ping, 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 ping on that Uranus, or the
mm,
Uranus is doing it to those planets as well. So
yeah,
there's this kind of it's very dynamic, actually,
yeah.
and it's dynamic just before this settling that we get
Mm,
as the planets all move into Capricorn.
mm.
Um, and
Yeah,
and it's a gradual kind of slowing down, I think.
I had interesting talking to a Taurus client who, as Uranus went back into Taurus, and she took up art again, kind of on the day. I
That's
thought that
really
was
cool,
thought
isn't
that
it?
was really cool. And I said, yeah, do it next 6 months while Uranus is in Taurus.
Yeah,
She suddenly had this sort of impulse to do it.
yeah.
So yeah, wherever the Uranus is, what's the impulse to do something as well?
Well, it's also, I think that Taurians have had like these 7 years really of Uranus in Taurus, which has been very tumultuous.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot about figuring out who you are and realize that you weren't who you thought you were and that your relationships are not what you thought they were. And it's been very liberating for a lot of Taurians. And this is the culmination of that. When a
Yeah.
major planet is getting ready to leave your sign, you
Mm.
often get these great results, like these great gifts that it's giving you.
Mm.
And it feels to me like it's doing that with Taurus now. So your client may do it for the next 6 months, but then she may do it for the next rest of her life as well.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you've been through this 7 years of like turmoil.
Mm.
Here's the gift, which is that
Yeah.
your creativity is alight again.
Yeah. So for
Um,
everyone, really, where the Uranus falls, particularly the Earth signs, Virgo, Capricorn. Capricorn, it's very creative. It's like taking up a hobby again, or learning to sing again.
yeah.
So going
And
back to
and for
song.
Virgos, it's super important because it's going to go on your midheaven, right?
Yeah. Mm.
Where it has been over the summer.
Mm.
Um, basically stationing at that 0 degrees. It's been so kind of making that kind of, I feel like it's almost been like buzzing up there. It's been going,
Mm. A lot of electricity.
yeah. And then it goes back into Taurus. You've got some final thing that you're doing, but also there's some kind of final offer which may take you just that little bit higher up.
Mm.
And then that's going to show you what's the path over the next few years, career wise, for Virgos is really
Mm.
important.
Mm.
And possibly great, I would think. I like Uranus as a planet. I think it's
Mm.
really it's an
Mm.
exciting energy.
It is. It's awakening. It's innovative, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
that seize the day really at its best. Let's do it.
And it's back
Life is short.
into, now that it's back in Taurus, it's clicked back into that beautiful relationship with Neptune
Mm.
and Saturn again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and that's what's so interesting again about this new moon. Stuff is happening, right?
Yeah.
Because there's the sun is squaring Neptune and the moon is squaring Neptune, but then and making an in conjunct to Uranus. So it's quite an awkward energy, but
Mm.
it's a thrilling one, you
Well,
know.
and this is the theme of the modern planets all working together, isn't it? Which really takes us into next year, and is going to be quite extraordinary, I think. Anyway, I think we should wrap up. We've been talking lots.
Okay. Well, I'll say happy holidays to everybody. Have a great
Yep, happy
time.
holidays. Happy holidays. We'll be back on the solstice, will we
Yeah.
not?
Yeah. Just before, indeed, to
Well, just
discuss the
before.
solstice.
Yeah.
So yeah, happy holidays. Take care. Have fun.
Yeah.
See you next month.
See you next month.